himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so New Off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here, but I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start dropping. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. And Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start chopper. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. More the Sim Racing Collective action here tonight on Friday night. And what does that mean here on JPB? Well, we got Formula 4 on the cards, thanks to the TSRC Formula 4 Sprint Series. And we're live and direct from the leafy Cheshire countryside at Oulton Park International Circuit, the first of 6 rounds. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, and I'd like to welcome along very, very quickly right now James Parfitt. Twice in 1 week we're working together, mate, and we got single-seaters on the cards once again on our network. How's about that, eh?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I really am. The F4s should be absolutely amazing around here, and I'll be interested to see how some of these drivers get on here as well. Good grid. We've got 28 cars going to battle their way round, going down into Old Hall after the start. Let's see how many make it through. And how many end up in the grass?
Yeah, very true. So the format for the TSRC Formula 4 Sprint Series is that they've been through an hour practice session. We're now getting underway. Well, we're actually a couple of minutes of the way through the solo qualifying, which takes place over 10 minutes. Then we'll have a 15-minute sprint race. The grid will be decided by qualifying, a brief warm-up, and then we'll get back underway with race 2. Which is a little bit more strategic, 25 minutes with the total grid decided by race 1. So 12 races in all. So this particular circuit here in Little Budworth, Cheshire, not too far outside of Chester city centre, first opened back in August of 1953. It measures just under 2.7 miles, just over 4.3 kilometres, and has 17 turns. The main challenges that the drivers are going to face tonight are going to be rapid changes in gradients, so elevation and descent, blind crests through multiple of the corners, including coming out of Lodge Corner and into Dilleep onto the start-finish straight. And then you've got a very, very big blend of tight and fast corners. So you've got fast corners like the sweeping left at the bottom of the hill down off of Denton's at Cascades. And then you've got one of the tightest hairpins, I think, in modern-day UK motorsport, Shell Oil's Corner. Plus, you've also got the chicanes at Britain's and Hislop's to negotiate. Now, James, of course, one of the good things about these Formula 4s is that the setups are fixed for everybody as per iRacing track spec, which is actually quite a good thing. We've got the old standing starts. And we also do have waiver rounds enabled in case that is required at some point. But in this early stage in qualifying, solo qualifying means that no one gets any tow from anybody. They're out there on their own, and they've got to put everything down on the line. There's no slipstream. Of course, yes, this is the lowest entry of slicks and wings in modern UK motorsport, but here at Oulton Park, it is a true challenge.
Yeah, it definitely is. What they don't want to do is come out of quali, or they don't want to come out of the race and then turn around and go, I've left something on the table. What they actually want to do is not leave anything on the table. I think that's what they've got to do. They've just got to go full bore all the way and go for it, and they've got to take them chicanes, they've got to take Britain's, they've got to take Hislops with such precise and accuracy that they can get on their way as well up from the run, Knickerbrook, Clay Hill, and after the chicane, of course. But I'm very interested to see where the overtakes are going to come from. Are they going to come from mainly mistakes? Are they going to come from people making errors and going off the side of the circuit? Or are we going to physically see some great overtakes from people up on the run, up through the water tower, round Jerusalem on their way to Lodge? I think that's going to be the main area. Old Hall at the beginning of turn 1, possible. The run down into Islands, if they try and go too wide at Islands Bend, one of them has ended up in the grass. That's a given. Maybe the run down from Britain's to Hislops, but it's going to be very, very hard and very, very tight for some of these guys. Oulton Park, not traditionally wide, right? You know.
Yeah.
it's not a wide circuit. They struggle to get GT3s too wide here as well, and it could cause chaos. Let's hope we don't see little bits of F4s flying around all over the place.
Yeah, looking back at free practice, the top 4 were covered by 0.11 of a second, with Pedro Silva from Portugal in the number 1 on a 1:32.520. Now, in comparison with the actual in real life F4 fastest lap, which was actually set last year in GB4, courtesy of Liam McNeely in the GB4 Championship, a 1:35.230. Josh Millington leads the way on a 1:32.763. Pedro Silva in second. Kieran Sharp, one of the members of the TSRC community, he's in third. Luciano Vitvoet, I've commentated on him quite a lot. The Dutchman currently in fourth on a 1:33.181. But Josh Millington and Pedro Silva are the first 2 drivers to break under the 1:33 second bracket in this solo qualifying, with about 4 minutes to go. And we've still got about 6 cars yet to set a lap time, so track limits are going to be heavily policed. For those wondering about the incident warnings, it's 17x, and it's after every 10x. Each driver can use 1 fast repair, and the marbles will be generated and carried over to the next race. So that's also a way of evolution, like we would see in a traditional IRL race weekend situation. But Josh Millington in the number 86 is doing a fantastic job, and he's a 10th and a half quicker than Pedro Silva. So at the minute they're looking to be on the front row, but we've got Stephen Hutter, Thomas Martin, Matt Acton, Jack Southfield, Andrew Pike, and Pavel Bogdan yet to set a lap time. And as I say that, Southfield jumps up into 7th.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that, Jack's been up within the top 10. I've seen Jack in various disciplines of racing. Never seen him in an F4, mind you. So it'd be interesting to see how he gets on with this one. I think we could be into some great racing here as well. Luciano Vitvots, Pedro Silva, Senina, Kieran Sharp, Jamie Nuttall, Tom Davidson, Jack Saville. They're all names that we're aware of. How are they going to get on here? That's going to be the difference. Are they going to manage and succeed and deal with these chicanes? And it is, to be fair with Oulton Park, the chicanes speak volumes. Everything else, you could just roughly run. Old Hall, same thing. Just turn right, let it car drift wide and drop down, into Cascades. Left-hander, look for the dip on the inside because that's the way it's going to go on you. And then Shell Oils, slightly lift, go round there into the hairpin at the bottom. So they've got to be thinking how and where can you make overtakes. You can see it here as well. Druids, very difficult to try and go too wide. Are they going to send it up the inside to Lodge? Is it something that they're going to look at? They've got to go on the brakes. You've got to get it in the dip. If you don't get it in the dip, you start drifting like that. It's there. So there's lots of different aspects of Oulton they've got to consider, but it'll be interesting to see how they deal with it here as well. Thomas Helmer in YouTube chat, come on, car number 27. Good luck, hoping for a great race. Houseoy says Nerve Sharp there as well. So
yeah, Thomas Helmer cheering on the number 27 of Dave Barnes, who is currently at the moment all the way down in 26th position. So we've got a little bit of time to find, but we are riding on board with Jack Southfield at the moment. And as you said, a little bit of too heavy application of the throttle, especially coming out of here as we're riding on board with them at the moment through Shell Oil's corner. You've got a lot of camber to the right-hand side, so the right-hand side tyres could take a little bit of a beasting around this circuit because you've got a lot of right-hand corners, especially going through Britain's that he's just negotiated, over the blind crest through Hilltop, heading into Hislops and then Knickerbrook. So straight away, you've got to be hard on the brakes, down toward his third gear. He's carrying the momentum through nicely, literally skirting millimetres away from the tyre barriers through Clay Hill. Now up over the blind crest here at Water Tower, under the Advan Bridge before the right-hander at Druids. We are coming to the last 45 seconds of qualifying. Jamie Nuttall has done a number on Josh Millington by 23 thousandths of a second with the 1:32.738. So it's the final opportunity. Pavel Bogdan yet to set a lap time. Actually, his first and only lap completed so far in qualifying was actually disallowed due to exceeding track limits. But Kieran Sharp goes top the times. 1:32.667 by the number 23, and that is less than a tenth. That's probably about 71 thousandths of a second. as Pedro Silva Saninha, who's from Portugal, currently running P4, was fastest in free practice, has the opportunity, if he can, over the next couple of sectors to make it through to get to pole position as he's making his way down towards Lodge Corner.
No time.
And that's it. Saninha's last lap opportunity not really being facilitated there because the timer ran out, and as soon as we hit 10 minutes, that's it. So here's your grid for round one, race one, the TSRC F4 sprint here at Oulton Park International. Kieran Sharp and Jamie Nuttall on the front row. Josh Millington and Pedro Silva Saninha on row 2. Luciano Vitvoet and Jack Southfield, row 3. Tom Davidson and Fabian Biervert round out row 4. Liam Giles and Guillaume Hamling complete the top 10 with Gurgley Kunsabo and Bradley Horsnell rounding out the top 6 rows. Clement Bibluk and Fred Coleman-Evans, row 7, with Matt Acton, Andrew Pike, Cody Cosford, Johnny Wu, I think it is there, Roy Weller and Gareth Ronda rounding out the top 20. Matt Smith, Thomas Martin, Marcus Miller, Baz Schillistra from the Netherlands, Tobias Heidrer from Austria, Stefan Hütter from Germany, David Barnes, Pavel Bogdan looks to not be gridding up, so we're going to be having 27 cars on the grid. It's going to be a standing start, so 15 minutes on the timer. And when the 5 red lights go out, we will be underway here in the leafy Cheshire countryside. A fantastic facility. I've been here a couple of times myself in real life just to spectate, and I know how deep the dip is from the avenue all the way through to Cascades, and it is a fast sweeping left-hander that has a camber to the left-hand side, so the left side tyres could be put through the ringer as we're just waiting for everything to get going. We've got 28 cars, so Pavel Bogdan from Slovakia has managed to get onto the grid. There are the 5 lights. They start to ignite, and when they go out, we will be underway for round 1. Race 1, there we go, blast off, and a good start by Jack Southfield, who gets past Luciano Vitvoet on the early phase, as Kieran Sharp leads the field into Old Hold Corner. They've got to be very, very careful on this opening stage. You don't want to apply the throttle a bit too hard coming out of certain corners as they go through Denton's, through the left-hand sweeper, down the dip here at Cascades. Kieran Sharp got a very, very good start indeed. And everyone at the minute has got through Cascades rather nicely. Very much single file as they go through into Island Bend, and then it's going to be hard on the brakes, either down to first or second gear here at Shell Oil's corner. A little bit of a lock-up there, I think, from Pedro Silva Saninha heading into Shell Oil's corner. Oh, that's wide there from third place. Josh Millington nearly loses the back end, but he kept it planted as they go through Britain's. Easy to see that these F4 cars are not to be trifled with.
Yeah, definitely not there. However, some people did try and cause a little bit of drama at the start here. Stefan Hütter, Thomas Martin, Pavel Bogdan and Tobias Reiterer has been into the pits. They have had to jump into the pits there as they've had issues. Matt Smith has also had an issue here as well. We can try and have a look and see what these guys got up to as well there. As you can see, the cars at the back start coming through. There was the initial contact. There was the 27, and then it all kind of tailed out, and then everybody had a little bit of drama after that one, Alex. So not a great start for some, but, you know, they're working on it. They're working on it, and hopefully we'll be able to see them get back underway as Kieran Sharp still leads with Jamie Nuttall and Josh Millington coming into turn 1, into Old Halls, of course, dropping down into Cascades now. Interesting start for some, not great for others.
Yeah, also the top 3 are broken away from Jack Southfield, who's now up into 4th position past Pedro Silva Saninha. So it's an early good getaway. Gareth Ronda, Thomas Martin, Marcus Miller, Baz Schelstra, Tobias Heitra and Stefan Hütter all in the pit lane. So we are down to 22 drivers. Looks like Cody Cosford has made up a couple of places up to 15th. But Kieran Sharp at the moment with the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 38.229, is leading the field as they go back in through Britain's on lap 2 of this very frantic 15-minute race. Of course, the grid will be decided following on from the results of race 1. Pavel Bogdan has now returned to the circuit after a quick fast repair. So has Matt Smith. A sharp intake of breath there. James, what have you seen?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in the pits. That's what I've seen, and I'm trying to figure out where it all started from here, but I've got a funny feeling Baz Shilstra. Oh, that had already kicked off there. Marcus Miller. Nope, that had kicked off there as well. So it's further up than that. Whoa! Somebody went
Skywards,
shooting up in the air there as well, didn't he? Matt Smith in the Jaguar. Love that livery. There's the initial contact.
Oh, there's an incident in front of him as well. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, and then we wait, and here comes the Skyward moment. That was very much like Webber and Kovalainen and Valencia a few years ago.
That just seems crazy, doesn't it? That, you know, there's the initial contact there. You can see them two getting together. Then here he comes. Matt gets put up the get hit up the rear end there. Somebody's taking very precautious. Oh! Who was that in the Jordan liveried machine there as well? Was that... Oh, I don't know who that was, but whoever that was, that poor person on the outside there, Alex, slow down to make sure he gets way round it, and then gets punted up for slowing down. So not a great look at the moment there.
Yeah, Matt Smith had absolutely nowhere to go on that. The Eddie Irvine Jaguar tribute band there, or the Mark Webber one, whichever you prefer. Pedro Silva Senina also in the pit, so there has been a change in the top 5. So Jack Southfield, Luciano Vitvoet round that out at the top at the moment, with Tom Davidson, Fabian Biervert up from 8th to 7th. So we've had another incident. That's another incident. That is not what you wanted there. Fabian Biervert running the MP44 style livery on his FIA F4. So we're going to have a look at the replay now. This is Liam Giles. This is going through. I think that was coming out of Knickerbrook, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Biervert's just lost it on his own, and Liam Giles has just had absolutely nowhere to go on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. He just got. When there's a car there, no matter how fast your reactions are, it just means that you're not gonna be able to get out of the way. You know, these guys aren't, cats, and they can't just jump out the way there. And that's the thing; they are going to be stuck there. Andrew Pike up 4 positions here as well. He's being chased down by Matt Acton. Further up, Jamie Nuttall and Josh Millington. Well, that is how close they actually are at this moment in time as well. They've got to make sure here they can make this all the way through. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a struggle for some of them.
Yeah, Matt Acton actually is a photographer. I did see actually is because this is getting a bit too close for comfort. Millington's really trying to pressurise Nuttall into a mistake in the 86 in third. Has got the fastest lap of the race. The top 3 covered by less than half a second as they come over the crest at Hilltop, down into Hislop's, the right-hander, before they head into the through into the chicane. They are literally flirting with the tyre barriers, maximum precision from the trio of them. But at the moment, Kieran Sharp is controlling proceedings with 6 minutes completed, 9 to go, and this is where it's going to get close, folks. They've just come through in towards the right-hander at Druids. Millington has got the ringside seat. Sharp trying to pull away into the distance, but it's easier said than done. So, yeah, we've had a few more drivers going to the pits. Matt Smith, Liam Giles, Pavel Bogdan. As now their line astern coming out of Deerleap and into the run into Old Hold Corner. There's a big cluster of smoke just in front of them, so I'm not too sure. I think that was probably Pedro Silva Senina that just had a moment, as still Luciano Vitvoet now sets the fastest lap of the race. He's about 2.6 seconds away from this battle. He's just on a 1:32.7, whereas Millington's just gone wide coming out of Cascades and into Lakeside. So he's got to be very, very careful, because one wrong move, if you end up too wide going through into Island Bend and someone ends up touching the grass, you're not going to go left, you're going to go right, and you're going to go straight into the tyre wheel. Guillaume Hamling, the Luxembourger, currently running in P11 behind Bradley Horsnell and Fred Coleman Evans, who are 10th and 9th respectively. So a good battle at the bottom end of the top 10. So this could be very, very crucial for these drivers on how they approach not just the remainder of this race, but also race 2 a little bit later.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We've got a great battle with Hamlin, Horsnell and Evans here as they're going side by side. Please don't try and do this, because this is not an ideal scenario. As Evans makes it through, then Horsnell and Hamlin behind him, with Pike tucked up behind that as well. Matt Acton here as well. Pike's turning around saying, we are going to go too wide into the left-hander just before we go into the right-hander of Druids. Is he going to make it? They were never going to make it.
Well, I think Hamlin got hoisted by his own petard a little bit. Well, it wasn't. It was Pike that got spun around into the gravel. It was Guillaume Hamlin that found himself pointing to the right-hand side barrier. So look from the helicam. Yeah, that was a move that was not really on from Hamlin, because Pike was trying to close the door. He was literally about half a car length ahead, and Hamlin just went for it. And we got a car on the we got 2 cars on the side of the road there. One actually moving away. That was the Jordan Tribute livery band, I think, there that we just saw coming through.
Yeah,
but Andrew Pike was very unfortunate, and that's Matt Acton. That buzzing Hornet has got no front nose cone or wing on it at all. The aero is going to be absolutely done to pieces after that, and he's just coming out. That's coming out of Lodge Corner, and the other person that went past him just clipped it off and then collected the barrier in his own right.
I've got a funny feeling this is David Barnes here. Yeah, he's coming back on. Oh.
I think Barnes just carried a bit too much speed through that final corner at
He
Lodge.
was never, ever, ever making that corner with that pace. It just wasn't going to happen, to be honest with you. And I think a couple of people need to take a bit of a look at themselves over the last few laps. Pavel Bogdan's also crashed as well. Liam Giles has also been off the side of the circuit. Johnny Wu is in the pits. David Barnes is in the pits. Baz Schiltzer's still in the pits. We have had no fewer than 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 cars pit over coming up to the first 10 minutes.
That means that 16 have pretty much been getting away with things scot-free at the moment, as we are coming up to the final third of this first of 2 races here for round 1 of the TSRC F4 Sprint Series, live here on the JP Broadcasting Network from the virtual recreation of Oulton Park International. As Luciano Vitvoet closing in again on Jack Sutherfield, going through Cascades. Now it's going to be pedal to the metal coming out of the corner. Don't run it too wide to the right-hand side and try and get the slipstream down Lakeside, and that's exactly what Vitvoet is going to do. He's going to try and throw it up the inside at Island Bend, but that would put him on the outside. Shell Oil's corner, tries the odd Nigel Mansell dummy, and the Dutchman still denied at this moment.
Jack Southfield here, he's trying literally everything to defend like an absolute trooper. Who is in? That's Pavel, I think, is that Pavel Bogan in the... Yeah, it is. He's had a bit of a rough one here.
Oh, he's just lost it trying to apply the power and bang, the back end hits. Well, there's the wing gone on the back end of it.
I don't get what's going on. Matt Smith in the Jaguar livery as well. It seems the throwback F1 liveries aren't doing so well. So maybe as a hint, don't put a throwback F1 livery on. The Jaguar, the Jordan, the McLaren. None of them have done great so far, as these guys are going too wide here as well. So Southfield still holding on from Vitvoet on the run down into Lodge here. Is this going to work? Southfield's on the left, Vitvoet's on the right. Is not going to get him this time, but they've also got Tom Davidson closing in here as well. Gareth Ronda and Pavel Bogdan have had another incident here as well. So it's not going so well at the moment.
Yeah, definitely more plan B than plan A at the minute. Oh, bit of a run wide there from Southfield. Vitvoet looking towards the outside run down the hill, through at Denton's into Cascades. The Dutchman still doesn't have the side draft alongside Southfield to get through. And Davidson is just waiting the wings for his opportunity to strike. And they're all trying to juxtapose for position. Through into Island Bend, now hard on the brakes. Into the tight right-hand, a lock up there from Southfield. This could give Vitvoet the opportunity to get a run on him, but he's got to try and use that opportunity coming out of the Britain chicane and then going off the over the crest here at Hilltop. And this is where Vitvoet could really get some downward momentum. So could Southfield and also Davidson. And also Dave Barnes has just said in YouTube chat, sorry guys, I'm out. Too much damage. That's a real shame for the number 27. Didn't have the best qualifying, but of course, a lot of these drivers come in to sim racing to compete against everybody else. And Thomas Helmer has already said, fingers crossed for better luck next race, mate. And that's what I like about the community, where you get people that will watch you and they'll go, here's the stream, you can check it out. We've still got 2.5 minutes to go. Running on board with Matt Acton. I thought as much. Yep. There's the proof. Matt Acton Photography. So he's gone with the you know, with the sort of like the yellow and white, yellow and black zebra stripes there. But we still have probably a couple of laps to go. including this one. But Kieran Sharp is doing a damn fine job at the front end of the field. He's 6/10 away and clear, as Southfield has now got past Vit Voet for 4th place. So Millington is still in
side
3rd.
by side.
Dearie me, this could end very,
Vit
very
Voet's on the
badly.
right.
Oh, Vit Voet's got it. Vit Voet's got it. Has he? I don't think he has, because Southfield will get the inside line. Vit Voet hung out high and dry on the top part of Shell Oil's corner, but he's going to try and chance it through into Britain's. He's going to get the inside line for the left-hander, but not for the right. Oh, very, very close indeed. And Davidson is just waiting to see if he can get the final step on the virtual rostrum in this race, because they are literally battling tooth and nail. This is a 3-way scrap for the final position in the top 3, and we have a minute and a half to go. So the next time Kieran Sharp goes round Lodge Corner and through Dearly, we're then going to get the white flag and have one more lap to go. But still, Southfield, Vit Voet and Davidson, you can't stop them at the minute.
No, they're still fighting away, and that's the thing, that they're still having a go. Kieran Sharp is making moves at the front. He's now dropping down through Dearly, out the other side of course as well, coming into Old Hall. There's Barney waving quite happily. This is the final lap of the first race. 15 minutes. Don't forget, we've got the second race still coming up here. After a 5-minute warm-up, Vit Voet is just trying to send his car up into any hole possible here as well. He's trying to get square in circle pegs here, Alex. He is literally just diving for any hole possible, and the only way I can see this going is both of them ended up off the side of the circuit here. But Voet's got to calm down. It is the final lap as well. Southfield's not a pushover. He ain't a puppy. He ain't like, oh, you're going to roll over and I'm going to take it. Southfield's now going to send it in deep going into Shallow Oils. He knows he needs to, which he did do. If he's got any sense, he'll open up the steering, just allow Vit Voet to do that. And that was far too aggressive on Vit Voet's part for the final lap. I'm sure if he calmed down a little bit, he would have made that move. But that was just too aggressive. Trying to just send it anywhere is just not going to help.
Yeah, exactly. And that's given Jack Southfield 4th position as a direct result of the Dutchman running wide, having gone toe-to-toe with Nuttall through Shell Oil's corner. But our race leader very shortly, Kieran Sharp, who's 9/10 of a second ahead of Josh Millington in the 86, is on his way to secure the opening victory in round 1 of 6 of the TSRC F4 Sprint Series here at Oulton Park. And there is number 23. Is going to make his way into the right-hander here at Lodge Corner, down the dip into Deer Leap, and Kieran Sharp from TSRC Esports, the number 23, picks up the victory after what was 10 laps. Millington takes 2nd, Nuttall takes 3rd. What on earth has happened to Jack Southfield? Oh, it's all kicking off behind him. There's a drag race to the line. It's going to be Southfield that takes 4th, ahead of Davidson. Vit Voet still manages to finish in 6th position. And there's a little bit of 2 and 8. Cosford versus Giles was 16th. As Gurgley Kunsabo will take 7th. Horsner will take 8th. Weller's going to take 9th. Guillaume Hamling's going to take 10th. So this is going to be a run to the line. They're coming out of Druid's Corner, over the crest, down the slight dip, over the ump, and then through into Lodge Corner. Very lot of undulation here at Oulton Park. And through Lodge Corner, Liam Giles from Crack Racing in the 29 is going to pip Cosford for 16th at the flag. But, well, what can we say about that one to sort of start proceedings? It was more than feisty. It was rambunctious, let's say.
Ooh, that's a big old word for this time of the evening, Mr. Goldschmidt there, sir.
And on a Friday night.
And on a Friday night. And we've not even had a drink between us here either. I know. I think the thing is with that is, I don't know, because it was round 1, there was a lot of nervous individuals, people going out, really wanting to go for it. But I think they needed just to take a breath, chill. But the results are on your screen here, buddy.
Yep, so Kieran Sharp takes the victory by nearly 9/10 of a second ahead of Josh Millington, which means it's the TSRC Esports 1-2. Cracked Racing's Jamie Nuttall in 3rd ahead of Jack Southfield, with Tom Davidson, Luciano Vit Voet, Gurgley Kunsabo, Bradley Horsnell, Roy Weller and Guillaume Hamlin completing the top 10. Fred Evans, Clement Bibliok, Andrew Pike, Fabian Beervert, Matt Acton complete the top 15 ahead of Liam Giles, with Cody Cosford, Matt Smith, Pedro Senina and Thomas Martin completing the top 20. with Stefan Hutter, Marcus Miller, Gareth Ronda, Johnny Wu. Then we got Tobias Heiter, Pavel Bogdan, David Barnes, and unfortunately on the opening lap, it was Baz Schilstra, who was our first retirement of the season so far. Got a little bit of a warm-up going on, 5-minute warm-up, before we get underway with a 25-minute feature race here at Oulton Park. And again, we did see in that first race, as you said, James, and rightly so, that there were a lot of nerves, a lot of trepidation. Cold tyres on a start never helps. So you've got to really be on your A game and let those tyres and those brakes and those pressures come up to temperature. And that race just showcased how comfortable Kieran Sharp was from the minute we went lights out.
I think the thing for me is there was a lot of people who need to do two things. A, when you see a big load of smoke and cars sitting there and one of them very, very slowly and your little spotter saying yellow flags, might be a good idea to slow down before you send him up into the outer realms of the upper atmosphere here. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes a lot of this is just racecraft ability to realise that you can slow down for yellow flags. We said about it, the width of Oulton Park is not very wide. You cannot do things like go too wide through Hislops, go too wide through Britons, try and get the run out of Knickerbrook too wide. It's just not gonna happen. They have got to sit back. They've got to think, right, where did it all go wrong? Okay, it went wrong because I didn't live for a yellow and I punted somebody into the upper atmosphere. It went wrong because I was too much power here. It went wrong because I tried to dive up the inside here. And look at themselves before they come out and you know, start moaning. I think that's the thing. I think some people will come out, as they generally have done on every series, and say something. But sometimes you got to look at yourself about what's going on first before you can look at others.
Yeah, very, very true indeed. Now, also, Kieran Sharp picked up the fastest lap of the race, if I'm very much mistaken, which means he gets a maximum score, 66 points. 65 points for a win, 60 for second, 57 for third, 55 for fourth, and then 53rd. And then it goes down in two-point increments all the way down until 24th position, which gives you 15 points. Of course, the calendar, folks. Oulton Park tonight, Summit Point Raceway next week. Then we go to Okayama, to the land of the rising sun, for the international full variation on the 9th. Then it's the West Bend Complex variation of Lime Rock Park, which is round 4. Virginia International Raceway, the full course on the 23rd of February. And then on the 1st of March on Road Atlanta, we will crown our inaugural TSRC F4 Sprint Champion. And I really love the fact that, you know, for those that are wondering, the Sim Racing Collective does a lot of sports car racing, but it's really nice that, like a lot of communities out there, James, they have embraced the single-seater madness here on iRacing.
Single-seaters are awesome. You know, we both done a series where there's 60 cars on track in F3s, you know, and that's the thing. I think at the end of the day, there is some great single-seaters out there. I drove the FF 1600 the other day just for a laugh, and I was in absolute heaven. It was amazing. Whoever doesn't do an FF 1600 league, you need to shoot him, because it was absolutely incredible. I had a great time. I was laughing all the way around it, mate. It was awesome.
So you're also in heaven, but also in hysterics at the same time, which is a great combination.
Yeah, let's shoot to the fact that that's obviously my bad driving. But, you know, and it was a great, single seaters are awesome. And it's only when you start getting up to W13s, that's when you need a bit more brain power. And that's far too much for me. Give me an F3, give me an F4, give me an FF 1600. I'm made up. Give me something that ain't too technical. Put me in a W13. Never going to happen. I'm not even sure how it would work, to be honest.
Or a super formula. And that's a bit of a beast in its own right as well. So there's quite a lot of single-seater action out on the iRacing platform, which is really, really good. Let's take you through the grid for race 2 of round 1 of the TSRC F4 Sprint here at Oulton Park. Kieran Sharp, inaugural winner, starts from pole position. Josh Millington will be alongside him on the front row. Jamie Nuttall and Jack Southfield, row 2. Tom Davidson and Luciano Vitvoet, row 3. Gurgly Kunsabo and Bradley Horsnell, row 4. Roy Weller and Guillaume Hamling, row 5. Fred Evans and Clement Bibliok round out the top 6 rows, with Andrew Pike, Fabian Biervert, Matt Acton, Liam Giles, Cody Cosford, Matt Smith, Pedro Silva Sanina, and Thomas Martin completing the top 20. Rounding out the grid, it's going to be Stefan Hutter, Marcus Miller, Gareth Ronda, Johnny Wu, Tobias Heiter, Pavel Bogdan, David Barnes, and Baz Shelstra. We're actually waiting for Bogdan to grid up, and when that happens, well, the lights are on, so Bogdan's not going to make the starts. So the 5 red lights here at Oulton Park International for race 2 of round 1 go out. A lot of wheel spin. I think that was probably from Southfield on the outside of row number 2 as the field starts to make its way down to Old Hall Corner for the first time. Bit close between Millington and Southfield heading into turn 1. There's to the back. Silva Sanina involved. Thomas Martin, I think, is involved. Cody Cosford drops off the circuit. Oh, and there's more drama through Cascades. Oh, my goodness.
Well, more action happening here as well. There is so many people off the side of the pits. We've got Cosford in the pits already. Cody Cosford is into the pits already. We are only on lap 1 here. Josh Millington still sitting in second. Southfield behind that one. Nuttall behind that one as well. Tom Davison and Vic Voigt there as well. They're going to be the top 6. That's where the winner's going to come from. I can't see it coming from anywhere else behind that. Hornsnell, Weller, Hamling, Acton, Giles and Smith all on the side of the circuit as well and doing a great job. But this was turn 1. That's Cody Cosford. There's a car going across someone. That's Bogan in the Jordan livery, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Bogdan's just said that he's had to quit because his arms are hurting and won't let him drive safely. So, a very shrewd decision there from Pavel Bogdan. I mean, this circuit here at Oulton Park, Cecinia's been turned around and yeeted off to the right-hand side of the circuit.
That was at the beginning with Bogdan. That was the one I was trying to pick up on. That was Cecinia who come across, and Bogdan was there, and unfortunately there as well. We've had Ronda jump to the pits. We've had Burton jump to the pits as well. We've got 3 cars in the pits here. We've got 1 out already here as well, Alex. So, yeah, it's all kicking off once more here for race 2.
Yeah, and also Halzoy has just said F4 Dakar edition in chat. Thomas Helmer saying he's through, as if to talk about his good mate David Barnes, who's made up 11 places as a result of those 2 opening lap accidents that we just had. But Kieran Sharp leading the way by about 2.5 tenths of a second heading into Shallow Oils Corner here on lap 2. So the strategy is going to be a lot more conducive. You've really got to pick your points. Don't go gung-ho and all guns blazing. You just got to really pick your moments, as we are seeing a couple of the drivers. I think I saw Southfield and Nuttall go a little bit wide, but look at this. Millington looking towards the outside. That's Brave going to his lops around the outside of Kieran Sharp. Luckily enough, he says discretion is the better part of valour and stays behind. But Vic Voigt has just got through on Davidson. That was a great move, going through into Knickerbrook from his lops.
Yeah, there was. He dived up the inside. Lucky enough, Davidson gave him the room there as well. And Vic Voigt did make it through. Top 4 still fight now. I'll be interested to see if Millington can get this on the run down into Lodge now. Is he going to be able to come around the outside? I wouldn't recommend it. Sharp's gone tight, so pull it. Come try and cut back on him. He didn't get the cutback. Up through Deerleap we go. On the run down to Old Hall now. And Josh Millington sitting in second place behind Kieran Sharp. Is he going to make the move up the inside? He's not this time. He's going to try and get a better run out of Old Hall. He's going to be brave, be brave, be brave. He's not going to be brave. And he's just going to sit there on the run through Cascades once more.
I think this is probably going to help him because Millington will have the draft, whereas Sharp's punching the hole in the dirty air. Let's not forget, folks, in the opening race, Sharp was away by 9 tenths of a second ahead of Nuttall at the end of 10 laps. So, again, it's about picking your moments. So Millington will be very, very wise just to keep in the wheel tracks of Sharp and keep within half a second of him. And the more he does that, the easier it's going to be. Of course, the circuit's going to rubber in. The fuel's going to decrease as Sharp goes a little bit wide coming out of Britain's on the run towards his Hilltop as they just go over the blind crest on the run down to his lops. Jamie Nuttall. Oh, dearie me. Now, I was going to say, was that Nuttall from behind that rear-ended him?
No, I think it might be Southfield.
Southfield's just dropped to 5th. So into... Oh, no! He just lost it. He just lost it on his own, did Millington. I just saw him turn in. Just look, slow it down a little bit. There we go. He loses the back end whilst rotating the car, hits the tyre barriers, spins him around, and Southfield has nowhere to go and has to go exit stage left and cut the chicane.
Yeah, that was just trying to apply too much brake pressure. That's what that was, and you're trying to slam an F4 car into brakes. It's not going to work as he goes off again.
And that was into pit lane entry. I think he's lost the rear wing on that wagon as well.
Well, he has now. I think he had it at the beginning here, but then he kind of dives.
I think he's going to get... There's going to be a touch. There you go. From the left rear of him, and he gets spun around 180.
Yeah, and then off he goes there as well, unfortunately, for these guys. Liam Giles batting it out with Matt Acton and Gwilym Hamling here as well, with Baz Schilstra behind him here once again. Davidson now chasing Vic Voet. We've just lost Nuttall. Yeah, we've just lost Jamie Nuttall as well, just as we picked up on it. Vic Voet sending it in, bro. If you're ever more aggressive in your whole entire life, that is one way that would do it. Vic Voet needs to settle down here. I know it's push to pass, but I don't know if it's push off the side of the circuit to pass. I've got to be honest. That is crazy, Alex.
That's what I'm going to call the sidewall shove from Luciano Vic Voet. That's exactly what it was, because they clashed sidewalls, and Nuttall had nowhere else to go but grass, and he was very, very lucky that it didn't really go into the barriers, but he's dropped all the way down to 12th position. Fabian Bierwert has been in the pits for 2.5 minutes. Cody Gosford, 2 minutes 46. So that's really put them at a bit of a detriment and put them a couple of laps down off of the leaders. Jack Southfield, in the meantime, is trying to go toe-to-toe with Bradley Horsnell, who started 8th and now is running in 4th position. So this is going to be very, very close indeed as they go through into the right-hander at Old Hall before they go through the avenue, down the dip into Denton's, and through the sweeping left-hander here at Cascades. So things are starting to calm down. And I say that term at this moment, folks, very, very loosely.
Yeah, you've got to say it like that. Unfortunately, at the moment, Barnes has had a crash, unfortunately, as well. It looks like he's dropping down here again as well.
Nuttall's out. Nuttall's in the pits.
Nuttall's had he's just said, well, that's it. Oh, that one as well. And Josh Millington has also looked like he's had another incident. If Millington ever had a badder evening, it would be this one. I don't know if he's aware of the car or what the situation is here. He's going into Old Hall now. Whoa, there's a car there.
Oh, blinds. Yeah, had nowhere to go. That was Dave Barnes, who was doing so well. He was up to 16th. And Davis just lost it coming out of Old Hall. Yeah. I think the thing was Millington was carrying so much speed he didn't realise the car was there until it was too late. It can happen.
Yeah,
I'm
surprised Barnes is still there. I'm surprised he hasn't got out of the way because he is technically on the racing line.
Yeah, because as you're coming out of Old Hall, the traditional racing line at Oulton Park is that the outside of the exit is where the car's going to carry its momentum through. But meantime, Bradley Horsnell is doing a fantastic job in 5th, and he's right up the rear exhaust pipe of is Liam Giles in front of him. Well, no, you've got Bradley Horsnell and Liam Giles. They're separated by just over 5.5 tenths of a second.
Yeah, it's not. Do you know what? I do agree with something that's going on there as well. We've got Helmer in YouTube chat saying it's very aggressive, and I do agree with that as well. But obviously their only way is to reverse. Yes, it is, but he was sat on the racing line for quite a while. He could have got that car out of the way, or there is the instant return to garage button that does just take you out now on iRacing as well. So that would have been an option, but he was sat on the racing line. You do drift the car out, right? You are right, Alex. You do drift it out, and you literally run it out to the very, very edge of the circuit as much as you can get. So just to be sat there, you've got the quick get out the car. You've got the reverse, which he had time to do. So there was all options there for Barnes. And unfortunately, none of them were used there, as well as Matt Acton has just lost the car.
That was coming out of Druids. That was way too much momentum for Matt Acton there. Yeah, well, Thomas, I think he might. I think Dave Barnes might have lost it on his own. And then the thing is, I think you said about trying to reverse the car back, but the thing is that if Dave wasn't able to engage reverse, if there was a problem with his hardware, you just don't know if there was an issue, because we're now going to see with David Barnes what actually. Yeah, so we're going to see he's going to launch it up the inside. That's on the 16 going through, and they make contact. So Barnes was the unfortunate instigator. The 16 gets out of the way and then spins around in its own right, returns to garage, and then he goes forward. One car avoids, and then Millington straight smack bang into the side of him, T-bones him like a good one.
But now you've got the different conversation there as well, because not only did the incident happen, but the move onto the racing line happened. So, you know, it's a grey area. It's a grey area. It's not black, it's not white, it's grey. And I only ever work in black and white, and that is not one way to be looking at that, because you've got to think, okay, he went off through the initial contact. He then was off the circuit. Let's remember that he was off the circuit and then drove forward. Looked like he almost got beached on the curbs there as well, Alex. So the car wasn't looking like it was going to go anywhere, and then sat there. And now Hamling is going to try and go up the inside of Southfield here, which could end up causing a problem for both of these.
Well, they've just come through Druids, and they're on their way to Lodge Corner. Again, some undulation. So Guillaume Hamling for Crack Racing decides to back out of it. Very good strategic ploy. I mean, we're nearly at the halfway point of this race. So 25 minutes when we went lights out, about 11 and a quarter minutes to go. So we're burgeoning on the half-time point. But Guillaume Hamling really trying to put a number on Southfield for what is 7th on the road. Now, let's not forget, as Hamling has gone round the outside, he's trying to do a Vit Voit there, trying to carry the momentum through. So this could really line him up nicely. If they keep side by side, this could give Hamling the run he needs, and he's got through before they've even gone into Island Bend. Good commitment there by the Luxembourger.
Southfield's got an issue. And I say that in the nicest possible way, because I'm going to show you something here as well. I've got a funny feeling. Let's clock Hamlin's KMH going down there, and then I'll quickly get to Southfield. I've got a funny feeling Southfield has not got power, or something is wrong in that car, because he is not even closing up with the draft. So Hamlin hit 192, give or take, going down into Hislops. We'll have a look at Southfield's next lap. I don't think he's got the pace. I seriously think he is struggling. So 167 here as well. I don't know if Southfield's got it. It's either that or his tyres have got here, Alex, and he definitely can't get the power down early.
Yeah, that's the thing with Oulton Park. There's so much change in terms of not only the degradation, but how you work the tyres throughout the course of a race. Because in these longer 25-minute sprint, feature races here, as there's a lock-up front right, was smoking like a good one for Jack Southfield. So I think you could be right there that the tyres, the Jack Southfield, could be dropping off a cliff. He hasn't conserved them, but let's not forget he was also... we always know on these sims that sometimes if you end up going around or having an off-track moment, it can dirty the tyres. But if you completely spin around, it can also flat spot them. So from that perspective, it just goes to show that Hamling is now pulling away. What's the gap between him and Southfield? 1.5 seconds after he got that move done. So Hamling knew that Southfield was at his mercy and decided, right, okay, I'm going to get through at Cascades, or I'll put it around the outside, put a little bit of the frighteners on there, but knew that Southfield wouldn't battle him too hard. And now Hamling's got Southfield to deal with just behind him.
Yeah, I think for Southfield, he's not showing the pace he had in race 1. So, you know, I think there is an issue. It's now 1.5 seconds back here as well. You know, he's being closed in. He did a 1:35.10 compared to Acton, who did a 1:34.07. So a whole second quicker than Jack Southfield. Now, I can guarantee something is going to happen here. Two things. Tom Anderson is going to clear Vit Voit, which is fine, and, you know, fair play to him. How he's going to do it, I'm not sure. and whether or not Vit Voet's going to come back at him straight away. But if Vit Voet drives like he did towards the end of race 1 and at the beginning of this one, neither of these cars are finishing this race, because I think Vit Voet has just got way too much aggression for trying to take on a single-seater open wheeler at the moment. And I think if Davidson gets through, I would be very surprised if these guys finish. And that's not being detrimental. I've only known Vit Voet from the first race. I've seen him here, Alex, but he is so aggressive. So aggressive.
Like I said, I've commentated on him multiple times, and he has had that aggressive tendency streak. And in single-seaters, you cannot afford to do it. In sports cars, tin tops, fine. A little bit different because you've got a bit more surrounding the car. But these IR04s here on iRacing are incredibly delicate. You've got to be using them like a bit of a ballerina in like Swan Lake, for instance, to use a metaphorical term. You've got to be very delicate with your inputs, brake, throttle, steering, and also you've got to be careful of the fact that the suspension travel is not as significant on a single-seater as it is on a sports car. So Vit Voet needs to start to calm down a little bit, because very aggressive in the last race, especially in that battle for P3, 4 and 5, but also the moment that he had with Jamie Nuttall going through Shell Oil's corner was one case of where you don't want that to happen, because the first thing is, if that was real life, Vit Voet would be out and so would Nuttall. Both cars would be significantly damaged.
Yeah, I do fully agree. Although the only surviving grace for Vit Voet on that incident was they banged tyre walls. That was it. I think other than that, wasn't a push to pass, it was punt to pass. You can't come that far back. You can't go in there and expect the room. You know, it's not I'm in an entitlement situation. Give me the car, give me the space, and I'm going to have it. No. You're all driving. I do love that livery as well by Tom Davidson. I've got to be honest, the little, things on the beach. But I think from Vit Voet's point of view, he's just got to realise that there is time here. You know, he's up 4 places. We've still got 9 minutes remaining. You know, there's a back marker in front. This is going to be an interesting one as well, because that's the 23 car in front of him. That's actually Kieran Sharp. So whether or not Sharp has had a moment or just got held up somewhere, I didn't realise Sharp was that close. I thought he was about 2.5 seconds up the road there at one point.
Yeah, well, he just did a 1:32.9, his best lap so far. I mean, he's got fastest lap of the race again, so he's on for a maximum score, folks, of, get this, 132 points. And the thing is now, Vit Voet has probably come a little bit to his senses here that, okay, race 1 was about seeing what happens and then get into the gist of it. And this will set him up nicely for the rest of the season. We've still got 5 more rounds. It's another 10 races after this one, folks, to consider. That will take us all the way through February, right until the 1st of March. So Vit Voet, he now knows that Kieran Sharp is going to be the one that he's got to have in his crosshairs and has got to battle him on track and battle him fairly and cleanly. And that's the beauty about single-seaters. There's a different art form to running in these cars as we run on board. Wonderful shot here on the right-hand side of Davidson from Climax Racing. And look, he's got the old pogs on the beach with the blue skies on the top of the side pods and the airbox. That's a lovely little bit of attention to detail there from Tom Davidson. But he's also keeping Vit Voet in check, and Vit Voet knows that he's got to try and push to catch Kieran Sharp, but has got to be worried about the 42 of Davidson, who's only 6/10 behind him, and we've still got another 7 minutes of this race left to go. So Vit Voet has got to cross the T's, dot the I's, very much like Kieran Sharp has been doing all night long.
Yeah, I don't know if Vit Voet is closing in here or Sharp is losing time somewhere, but I want to have a look at what's going on down here with Johnny Woo and Sabo there as well. They were side by side at one point here as well. So Johnny Woo in the Jordan throwback livery, of course, Sabo in front. They were literally nose to tail. Gwilym Hamling and Matt Hackton and Jack Southfield. Southfield's now been caught. That's how much problem he must have in that car. He lost 3.5 seconds over 3 laps. That is an insane amount of time, and he's now lost a position to Matt Acton. Whatever is Southfield's issue, if he's got a fast repair, go and use it. Get it out the way, because you're going to go there.
Sorry, Guillaume Hamling has just ended up in the pits for some reason. What on earth has happened to the Luxembourger in the 351? Oh, he's just gone straight on through the gravel. And that... Oh, he got on the brakes, but I'm not too sure if he might have had a hardware problem there with the steering wheel, because that car was going straight on. It didn't turn right or left.
No, it definitely didn't there from Hamling, and I'm wondering if he just something locked on him. No, he hit the grass. He hit the grass on the left-hand side. His left front hit the grass, and he was never going to be able to turn right at that point, Alex, on that one. So that was unfortunately just far too much speed there as well. Nuttall is out on track with Pike here as well. The gap up front has dropped below a second with Voit and Sharp. And Voit's opened up nearly a second on Davidson behind. So maybe as this is going on, there might be some progress forward with Voit at the moment. But let's hope here as well. There as well.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that Voit last time around did a 132.677. That was his personal best. Sharp 132.830. And like you said, yeah, he's starting to close in on Sharp and pull away from Davidson, whose tyres might also start to be having a little bit of degradation problems, coming to the end of their shelf life, as we are 4.5 minutes away from the checkered flag. We're currently on lap 14 here at race 2, round 1, the Sim Racing Collective F4 sprint season here on the JP Broadcasting Network. We'll be keeping you apprised of lots of action that's going to be coming up over Sunday, as you'll be able to breathe a sigh of relief and get your breath back after the amount of action that we've been broadcasting all the way through the week so far. But Tom Davidson in the 42 Climax Racing Formula 4 car takes a nice tight line through Shell Oil's corner. Pedro Silva Sanina has made his way up to 8th place and is closing in on Jack Southfield. 10th separate the two as they now make their way in towards Shell Oil's corner. Sanina looking towards the inside line to get a tighter line in, which he does, runs the car out wide. Now the run to Britons before they go over the crest at Hilltop. So Sanina looking for a top 7 after what was a very difficult first race.
Yeah, it definitely was, but he's got Southfield in front, and at the moment we know Southfield's not really topping out on pace at the moment here as well. He's lost a good few places, and Sanina again closing in on him for Southfield here. I don't know. I don't know if there's some form of damage on there as well. Dave Barnes, unfortunately, has had another moment here as well. And I am wondering, that was all on his own. So maybe he's hit coming out of here. He has out of hit Knickerbrook and on the way to Hislops. Remove that car, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, and now, new fastest lap of the race, Luciano Voit, who is 0.3 of a second behind Kieran Sharp for the race lead. We've got coming up to 2.5 minutes to go, so I would imagine we're going to have 2 more laps, including this one, possibly. They're 40% of the way through lap number 15 here at Oulton Park, because there is Voit in second. Sharp rounding in the lead and is looking to consolidate what would have been a near maximum score had Luciano Voit not just stolen the fastest lap off of him. Over the crest at Hilltop and then down the hill into Hislops, into the right and then into the chicane here at Knickerbrook. So this is going to be very, very crucial how both Sharp and Voit manage their tyres in the dying moments of this race, because we're coming up to 2 minutes to go, and by the time they cross the stripe, Barney, the flag marshal on the start-finish straight, will be, I think, James, waving the white flag quite profusely.
Yeah, this is going to be very close, mind you. They've got about another 20 seconds to get round Lodge, down through Deer Leap and out the other side to whether or not this race is going to go one and one more. I'll keep an eye on the cockpit here as well. Barney is not waving. We are going to go one and one more here as well. Sharp made it over. I think it was about 4 or 5 seconds remaining here as well. So he's going to have to do this for 2 more laps with Voit, who's shown mightily much of aggression here. Some may say too much, me included in that one, but let's see if these guys can do this cleanly. I'm worried. I am a little bit on edge, a little bit worried here as well, just because of the fact that if a gap's left, and if there isn't, even if there's not an opportunity, Alex, and he shouldn't have made an opportunity, I think he's going to try and make an opportunity. So I am a little bit worried for these two, but if I was Davidson, keep it on the track, mate. There's still chances yet.
Yeah, even though he's 2.4 seconds behind Vit Voet as they come over the hilltop for the penultimate time on lap 16 out of what will be a total of 17 laps in this feature race 2. Of course, that mean we'll have covered a total of 27 laps of the 2.7 mile circuit here at Oulton Park International as they make their way over Clay Hill through into Water Tower. And it's the run through into the right-hander here at Druids. And it's going to be a little bit of undulation to deal with in these single-seater IR04 racing cars here on the iRacing platform. Through into Lodge Corner. Looks like Vit Voet is trying to go for a run out of Lodge Corner through Deer Leap. Now this time, white flag in the air with literally 5 seconds to spare. And Sharp knows that Vit Voet is going to be swarming all over the back of him for the next 2.5 miles. And this is where it's going to be crucial. Down over the avenue into Dentons, down into Cascades. Vit Voet is about a car length behind Sharp as they come out of Cascades on the run down to Lakeside. Where will Vit Voet place the car? Sharp going on the defensive through Lakeside into Island Bend. Will he get the run on the right-hand side? He will. But Vit Voet looks to the outside to try and get the cut back through Shell Oil's corner. Now it's the run to Britain's. Vit Voet knows he can't chance an overtake there, but he did a absolutely sterling one through Hislops and Knickerbrook on the opening lap of this race to get up to 5th position. So will he have the power and also the slipstream, maybe even a little bit of side draft, because Vit Voet looking to the outside, looking to the right, can't get through.
No, he's going to keep trying here as well. Up through Knickerbrook they go. We've got Kieran Sharp. He's got Vit Voet tucked up through, but right behind him as well. Over Clay Hill, through the Water Tower. Now we're going to go around the right-hander of Druids. How is this one going to work for Vit Voet? Is he going to be able to do it here as well? He's not got it this time. Is he going to be able to do it into Lodge at the base here as well? Sharp's on the defensive. Vit Voet knows he's only got the outside line to go here, Alex.
And out of the final corner, Kieran Sharp looks like he's going to hold on. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Vit Voet trying to power past him. He pulls to the right-hand side. Sharp wins it by 76 thousandths of a second. That's 2 wins on the bounce for Kieran Sharp in the number 23. Vit Voet rounds off his evening with the 2nd place. It was nip and tuck. If Vit Voet was a little bit further towards the inside, coming out of Lodge Corner, he could have got the run. Tom Davidson takes 3rd position in that race. Good job by Liam Giles as we're running on board with Jack Southfield. Oh, he was off at Lakeside. Oh no, he hit the barriers coming into Island Bend. No.
There was a couple of others that had gone off as well over this final lap. Stephen Hoyter had also gone off as well. If this is a move on the 1-3, oh, you're too wide, sir. Too wide. Grass all day. Slick tyres, that never going to happen. And Roy Weller also had a moment as well here as he goes over onto the side of the grass and then comes back on. So, yeah, some interesting people finishing off this race. Yeah.
I think they need to get the mowers out, don't they, with all of that?
Hey, I tell you what, if this was real life, whoever's there would be picking up carbon about now and sticking it on eBay. There would be so much of it. I can tell you that much, because there was a lot of it.
I'm probably getting quite a bit of invoices thrown their way, courtesy of Jonathan Palmer through MSV for cutting the grass too much.
Yeah. Who needs groundsmen when you got the F4s and TSRC? It's yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know if the stewards are going to be one busy individuals here this evening as well.
Well, there's your amended results in the fact that it was 69 thousandths of a second that Kieran Sharp won race 2 here at round 1 at Oulton Park, ahead of World of Racing's Luciano Vit Voet with Climax Racing and Tom Davidson rounding out the top 3 in the 42. Liam Giles for Crack Racing in 4th, ahead of Bradley Horsnell. Matt Acton in the number 10 stripy yellow and black zebra edition. Matt Acton photography car rounded out the top 6 ahead of Gurgly Kunsabo, Jamie Nuttall, Andrew Pike and Johnny Wu, who made up 13 positions, we'll make that 14 possibly, to finish in 10th ahead of Pedro Silva Sanina, Thomas Martin, Marcus Miller, Matt Smith, Jack Southfield, Guillaume Hamling ending up 16th at the end of it, ahead of Tobias Reiter, Fabian Bierwert, Roy Weller with Stefan Hutter and Jack South. Quite a lot of changes up there. Stefan Hutter running at the top 20. Fred Evans in 21st. David Barnes, Cody Cosford, Clement Bibliuk, Josh Millington, Baz Schilstra, and then Gareth Ronda and Pavel Bogdan opting not to take the start in the second race.
It's going to be very interesting here as well. We'll have a chat with a couple of drivers there as well. We've got Kieran Sharp sat there waiting for us, and then we've got Cool Shark Racing, who I think is Cody Cosford, sat there waiting as well, Alex. But if you want to have a chat with Kieran Sharp, there he is there for you.
Well, Kieran, good evening, first of all, buddy.
Good evening.
Well, nice way to start off the TSRC F4 sprint season here at Oulton Park. 2 wins on the bounce, but nip and tuck in the second one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was lucky in the first one to break away from the slipstream after the guys fought a bit hard and had an incident. And I knew race 2, if they were to keep it clean, that was going to be a lot more harder. Keeping it tidy through the chicanes, certainly a tough one.
I mean, it's really great to see that TSRC, you're one of the people behind the scenes to get single seaters in the community. To have a 28 strong grid for both races was, a pretty good way to sort of kick things off. It was a bit chaotic behind you, I will be completely honest, as James will testify to that. But to race single seaters alongside, the sports cars that we normally broadcast here on JP Broadcasting, it's nice to have a bit of a refreshing change, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone, does prefer, the GT, endurance style, longer races and whatnot in our community. So this is certainly a change, and I think it does show with some of the driving as well. I think people have a lot to take away and learn from some of the standards tonight, from what I've heard and seen between the sessions. It's definitely a change of, style of driving. You've got to think a bit more differently, keeping your car tidy. A lot of people picking up a tiny bit of wing damage, and that throws them off pace for the rest of the race, and they either struggle with it and find themselves in more trouble, or they'll come in, lose time, take the repair. But I think the racing has some huge potential, and I think once people start figuring it out, driving a bit more sensibly, I think the racing should get a lot more tighter. Should be really good.
So you now go into Summit Point Raceway, which doesn't really see any sort of traditional single-seater action next week, with a big score, 2 wins. That's 130 points, plus 1 for the fastest lap in race 1. Luciano unfortunately denied you of a second successive fastest lap of the race because he went in and did a 132.5. But still, to get 2 wins on the board and to go into next round where, again, it's going to be trying to get yourselves up to speed, learn how the tyres will react, how they'll switch on, the brakes and everything. Going to be a completely different challenge in some respects to Oulton Park like we've had tonight, wouldn't you agree?
Certainly. I think there'll be more overtaking opportunities there as well. You've got T1 going down the hill as well towards the middle sector. I think Oulton, I think track position was a lot more important than some Summit Point. I think there's going to be a lot more heavy slipstreaming and people making moves up the inside in heavy braking zones and such. It should be a tough one.
Well done tonight. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go this evening?
Just like everyone for coming to join, those watching, the guys that have signed up to our racing leagues. It's only our second one now as well, and it's good to see that people are interested in giving it a go.
Brilliant, Kieran. Thank you very much. And we'll see you in a week's time at Summit Point Raceway for round 2.
Yeah, thank you, guys. See you later.
So, Kieran Sharp, our double race winner, kicking off the season in style. Let's see if we can bring Cody Cosford, who had his fair share of dramas. Cody, good evening.
Good evening. How's it going?
Not too bad. You've been put through the ringer a bit tonight, especially in race 2.
Yes, indeed. I didn't do much practice, so I wasn't sure what to expect pace-wise, and completely binned quali.
But the main thing is, have you had fun tonight? That's the main thing I need to ask you.
Yeah, it was good fun. You had to have your wits about you.
I mean, of course, it's never easy when it's a very compact championship. 6 rounds, 12 races in total. There's still an opportunity for you to progress, and I think that's what a lot of sim racers in the community these days like. They like a little bit of a challenge to be taken out of their comfort zone, and you would probably very much agree with that, because you can always you can always look at, oh, what happened here, look at the replays that you've recorded, and then go, oh, actually, next time, at least I know what I need to look out for the next 2 races in a week. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go, Cody?
My teammate Luciano almost had the win there. He had pace for pole, but didn't get the lap valid, and almost came for a win on the second race there. Just missed out.
Brilliant. Well, Cody Cosford, thank you so much for joining us, and have a good evening. We'll see you in a week's time at Summit Point Raceway for round 2.
Thanks. Bye.
Well, James, that really rounds off what has been a dynamite way to bring F4 sprint racing to the Sim Racing Collective. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, sword and keyboard there as well. F4s, the F4s here, buddy, as well. If you want to get yourselves involved, all links are down in the description below. You can get yourselves involved. Come and join along as well. Don't forget, guys, as well, if you have sat here and watched this, please obviously be aware that obviously it's the first season of F4s. It's the first opening race. All of these cars have not always raced together, so that's where some of the problems are. So it's not normally like this. Come and get yourselves involved. Come and join in, all right? All links, as I say, down in the description below. TSRC website is there. The Discord's there as well. It's all there, so please come and get yourselves involved. But I think there are going to be some drivers who's going to have to take a total look at themselves, and if the stewards are going to be busy, because there is a lot of things to be looking at. So yeah, should be an interesting one. See what happens in the penalties about next week, mate.
Yeah, I have to say a big shout out to the likes of Sword and Keyboard. Thomas Helmer, who says, well done to the commentators as well. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate that kind of feedback as well. What's coming up on JP Broadcasting for the rest of the week, I hear you cry? Well, at 1:45 a.m. UK time, we've got Kentucky Speedway for Racers Elite ARCA Series. Then at 8:35 a.m., we've got Premier Endurance GT4 Round 1 at Mugello. At 7 p.m, we've got Pole Position Racing, Round 2, Bahrain F1 2023. And as we always like to have to curtail a week, it's always going to be IGP Fun Formula 3, Round 5, Mugello, 9:20 p.m. UK time. So on behalf of James Parfitt, my name's Alex Goldschmidt. And as always, race hard, race clean, race fair, and if in doubt, flat out. Good night. Have a great weekend.
Yeah.